Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, and RCR's top brass, and a lot of you are not going to like what I have to say about this. But that's okay, because we're all allowed to have our opinions, right? Coming up. Next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, it is currently 56? 3:56 in the morning. I just got home about maybe an hour ago and started working on this episode. And I've got to be at Martinsville tomorrow, so it's going to be an adventure tomorrow. So hopefully I see some of you out there. But of course, I wanted to address this because some people have already said, how come you haven't made a video about this? Well, that's because I was at Ace Speedway and also Orange County. But enough about that. Sheldon Creed versus Austin Hill. First off, if you haven't seen the footage, this is the finish of the race. And while you're watching that, I'm just going to go ahead and talk through it and say, to me, this is just short track racing. I don't see anything wrong with this. I don't see any big deal about it. I know Alan Cavana got on Twitter and said that his spotters should have gone back there and told Austin Hill that he was good in points and he should have let Sheldon Creed win. I disagree with that because this is a restart and you don't have enough time to communicate that type of information. And then he goes back and points out his counterpoint to that. Of course, Alan Cavana's counterpoint to that is the Ross Chastain situation from last year. That was a totally different situation because the field had already spread out by then. It wasn't an immediate restart when all that stuff was going on. Or even if it was, the field had already spread out by then and he had enough time to get the communication to him. He wasn't in a battle for the lead like these two were battling, so there wasn't enough time to communicate that information. So it wasn't a failure by the team to communicate information is what I'm getting at here. And then after this, surprise, surprise, a short track, there was aggressive driving, and the two guys that took themselves out for the win were mad at each other and said mean things about each other in the post-race comments. And I'm just going to paraphrase. I'm not going to put them up here because I'm sure you've watched everybody else's video by now, and you've already seen the comments. But just to paraphrase, Sheldon Creed basically said, nobody at RCR likes me. I don't get the respect I deserve. They favor Austin Hill in so many words. That's pretty much what he said there. And a lot of people came to his defense and said that RCR was being very unprofessional. And here's why they said RCR was being very professional. You go to Austin Hill's comments. Austin Hill said he's glad that Sheldon Creed is not going to be his teammate next season, and he's glad that he's going to be going over to Joe Gibbs Racing, JGR. So for everybody in the comments that keep saying, why do you keep saying Sheldon Creed's going to Joe Gibbs Racing? Finally, somebody other than me has said officially that Sheldon Creed is going to Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series next year. So stop with the comments of how do you know he's going? I know, and I know because I know. I'm not gonna reveal my sources on that one. So that is what Austin Hill had to say. Then Andy Petree got in Sheldon Creed's face and had something to say, and they had a little spat on pit road. And Richard Childress chimed in the heat of the moment. He had a comment that said, essentially, Sheldon Creed is the stupidest driver that has ever driven for RCR. So yes, all of those comments were very unprofessional, including Sheldon Creed's. So all the people saying that RCR is being unprofessional, you have to group Sheldon Creed in there too, because Sheldon Creed saying they favor Austin Hill over me, that's also unprofessional. So yes, everybody at RCR was unprofessional. And guess what? This is not a big deal, because if you go to your local short tracks, which I go to a lot because I work on, late models, this happens like every weekend at a local short track. There's some blow up, there's some drama, and I think it's great for the sport because guess what? I could have posted any thumbnail I wanted to, any title I wanted to for this. I could have put, hey, Lane Riggs finishes 11th in his Xfinity Series debut, or Rajah Caruth gets 12th, or Parker Retzlaff finishes in the top 10. I could have put any of those in the title. Nobody would have clicked on it. But because I said, hey, look, RCR is having a fight or whatever, I don't know what I'm going to title this yet, but I put that in there. This is probably going to get more views than any of those other ones I picked because drama, nobody wants to hear it, but drama does grow the sport because people tune in for personalities. They want to know the personalities of the drivers. They want to know the personalities of the teams they're pulling for. So for everybody saying that everybody in this situation should have been more professional, I say screw that. We don't need 15 more Jimmy Johnsons in the sport. We don't need every team to act like Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick Motorsports does their thing, and that's cool. They're super corporate. They're super professional. unprofessional over there. But guess what? That's not going to grow the sport. Jimmy Johnson won six championships in a row? Was it 5 in a row? Anyway, he won however many championships in a row. And guess what? The sport didn't grow because his persona on TV was as boring as dry toast. But now you get some of these other guys in here that win championships and they have some personality like, Kyle Busch. I think that will grow the sport as proven by F1. F1's on-track product is one of the most boring racing products you will ever watch. But the personalities in F1 have drawn more of a fan base in, especially with the Drive to Survive where you get to see those personalities. So I say let's go away from this corporate being professional thing and let these people have their opinions. Sheldon Creed should have his opinion. Austin Hill should be allowed to have his opinion. Richard Childress should be allowed to have his opinion. And Andy Petree should be allowed to have his opinion. And you're allowed to have your opinion and agree or disagree with them, but don't tell them to be more professional and more corporate and shut up or lie or just straight lie to your face about what's going on, because I think that will, in the long run, hurt the sport. And as a final signing off note, I'm an old man, and all these people saying that RCR is being unprofessional. Do you remember RCR at all from when they started? RCR has never been corporate. RCR has never been professional, and that's why people love RCR. It's always been RCR versus the world ever since Dale Earnhardt was their driver, because if you remember the Dale Earnhardt era, he got just as many boos as he did cheers. So this has always been the culture of RCR, to be unprofessional, us against the world, if you're an RCR fan. And I don't think that's ever going to change. So all these people saying RCR is being unprofessional, where have you been the last 35, 40 years? They've always been just like this. And it's beautiful. And I wish more teams would just come out and tell the truth like they tell the truth and stop being so corporate. All right, that's all I got for you on this one. If you like it, let me know down in the comment sections down below. If you don't like it, let me know down in the comment sections down below. You might have some valid points that I'm not thinking about, so let her rip. Like I said, I'm glad Sheldon Creed gave his opinion. I'm glad all the rest of them gave their opinion as well, and they should be allowed to do so. All right, it's first time to the channel. Would love to have your subscription. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate you guys as well. If you got a question or comment, I've already begged you for your opinion on that. Man, it's late. I'm out of here. I'll see you at Martinsville if you're there. Peace.